All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Dr. Stone, Season 1, Episode 2. All right, so Dr. Stone, we have this crazy premise.
Yep.
The world has been reborn, mucked with. 3,700 years have gone by.
It's kind of a big deal.
Taiju and Senku are our two boys of like polar opposites proclivities.
Definitely. Yeah.
And they're going to figure this out.
Right.
You know, man versus wild.
Yes, and hopefully, and they've figured out how to properly undo the petrification, so they should be able to wake up some people, which is helpful because the human race must be propagated.
The question is what is their timetable for releasing people, and then what is their plan once they start releasing people who might not be of sound mind? Because my thought is that, you know, Taiju and Senku have this bond, this relationship that goes before the event. But
for everyone else,
most sane people, when approached with this kind of a setup, might panic a little bit.
Just a little.
At least I would.
Yeah. And it's almost like Senku has an amazing opportunity here if he can choose who he releases and in what order and in what time frame.
Yep. But for now, let's survive and figure this out, y'all. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. I love this warning at the end. It just shows how silly our world has become in a lot of ways. It's like, this is an enemy, and we don't want you to do this. Some of these things are not... What's the situation?
So
comes out there and punches a lion.
Like, well, not only just punches a lion, punches it, makes it go flying back, slamming into a tree with one punch, and it's unconscious.
So we have science, but we have anime.
Yes.
And that's where this world is just going to live.
Well, that's how. Well, okay. So at first I was like, okay, that kind of defeats the purpose of like having scientific explanations for stuff when you have a superhero. Like he straight up said, he's like, he's basically a superhero. However, since he's in the antagonist role, right?
Yes.
That means that we still have the premise of I'm going to beat fantasy with science, because he will have to come up with a scientific way to defeat this fantastical human being. Yeah.
Which, let's be real, human beings are pretty freakishly crazy.
Yes.
Now, this is not possible by a high schooler, obviously, but the idea that maybe a guy hopped up on adrenaline
and cocaine
or just could scare away maybe the lions. Who knows?
Sure.
I like the idea that there was some way that he was able to at the very least deter them from attacking.
I liked the thing of that it wasn't that he would fight off all the lions, it's that he would do something that was enough to make the other lions go, sort of be like,
I don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
And Senku did bring up that they hadn't seen any bipedals in their lifetime.
That is very true.
Like, all the stone statues they wouldn't consider to be alive.
Right.
So they'd never seen a human being. So it's this weird, like, freakish ape things walking around being like...
Right. And he's got the confidence that comes with being an Aztec god of fitness. So, there you go. Right.
So we went full JoJo's, and that's fantastic. That's fun. And we very quickly established that Senku felt... suspicious, insecure, or what have you about this whole situation. He didn't like that he had to do this.
This made me think of like the D&D character where the player is like wanting to make sure that their player is like their character is like the top dog. So then there comes in someone else and it's like, and the DM's trying to say, no, you guys are just adventurers, right? You're just people.
But they can't help it, like,
but they can't help but be like, oh, haha, yes, I'm totally going to I'm going to make sure that we are not on friendly terms, even though this guy could break Senku's neck with,
the wizard essentially is like, yes, I will be the one that helps make sure that the party's main damage dealer and all that stuff, I cover everything that the party misses out on here. And then we have this mixed level barbarian fighter that just kind of steps in and just does like, I can do stupid damage.
Yeah.
And like roll with advantage for all these attacks.
Right.
What have you got? I also rolled like max HP for all my hit points and everything.
Right. Yeah.
What is your fireball going to do?
Yeah.
And he's like,
exactly.
I mean,
yeah. And it's one of those things where like, because on the one hand, what Senku's doing is so absolutely stupid, right? Because when you're in this situation, you don't want to antagonize the person that could be a physical threat. And he brought that up at the beginning, you know, that this guy's physically, you know, kind of potentially could be a problem.
He could have his way with whatever he wants here now.
Yep, exactly. He is essentially the new god of this world until Senku one-ups him.
Until Senku sciences him.
Right.
Which he probably is already thinking of, hence making the crossbow.
Yes, exactly. But because this is an anime, so even if he's going to use science and science only, I mean, he can still up the style of everything, right? He can still talk the smack and everything, right? Because why not, right? Otherwise, it'd be too straightforward. You know?
And also, let's be real, like, in some ways, Tsukasa needs Senku. Senku is the only one who knows exactly how to produce the stuff. Right. And, you know, make it work in such a way to break free other people.
Now, hopefully, for Senku's sake, Tsukasa is not enough of a Zen person that he's like, you know what, if we don't advance technologically, that's okay too. We've got enough right here, and I kind of like it like this, so, you know, that's fine. You're too dangerous, you know. But...
yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen. What I think he's going to end up doing is he's going to passive-aggressively force Senku to... make things be a little bit more shaped in his image in that regard of the way that the world works.
Oh yeah.
Which, you know what? This is not that unrealistic.
Oh no.
Because let's take the dynamic of him being a super brawny, like, I just murdered the guy that, you know, caused my like emotional distraughtness, horrific backstory stuff. Let's have it be just someone who has a little bit too much ego and just doesn't like the fact that Senku is calling all the shots with stuff there.
Oh, yeah. There doesn't necessarily need... That's the thing.
Yeah.
Humans... Okay, Senku might be logical, but even then, we've seen that he has enough of an ego to not be 100% logical.
That's true.
Right?
Which is good. He has a flaw.
Yeah, he has a flaw. That makes him more interesting. Right.
Yeah.
Even if he makes sure to not show it, right?
Too much.
But the thing is that applies even more so to everyone else. So in the case of so for Tsukasa, maybe he'll be logical and he'll keep Senku around. But there would have, you know, he could have very easily just as much been like, you know, I don't like your tone.
Yeah, he's like, I think I can get that dumb boy Taiju to tell me basically everything you know about this bit here. And you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I think what we're going to end up seeing basically is this weird kind of rivalry that almost like within maybe like 4 episodes goes like, because they'll probably within, I would say, about 2 or 3 episodes start unlocking a ton of people. Like, I think based on the way that they both have a difference of opinion of who should be saved here,
they need allies.
Well, they're both going to try and unlock tons of people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the way that you keep the, at least from Tsukasa's perspective, you keep the methodical, logical person from being able to work his magic, so to speak, on all the people, and you just have them have to just look at the people that are alive and go, yeah, I'm gonna follow the guy that gets me like tons of food and stuff like that. And then we'll quickly have 2 tribes. And then, you know, there'll be trade that'll have to be established, because then they'll realize which parts that they're not actually sufficient on. I love this, like, early Minecraft kind of world that we're going to get here. It's hilarious.
And while, like they did kind of get to this part quickly, we also kind of knew that this had to happen eventually.
We just thought it might happen a while later.
Right, it might happen a while later, and that it... But because of the forcing function of, we're getting chased by lions, right?
And I like that climbing a tree... Now that I think about it, wasn't their immediate thought, because female lions, and I think even male lions, can climb trees to some extent. And
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have worked. So yeah, here we go. We use the power of anime, JoJo strength, and all right, The story continues.
It does indeed.
It wasn't just a random encounter that ended up being too high of a CR and they all just die
exactly.
instantly.
Right. It's a forcing function to propagate an arc of the series that we knew had to happen at some point, and it's keeping things at a steady clip.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And also, let's be real. Given that they're going anime with this, right, with having this pillar man that punches lions to death and whatnot, right, it is a good thing that they brought this up now,
right?
Because okay,
let me set the tone for things.
It sets the tone, because let me paint a picture for you.
Yeah.
Let's say 8 episodes go by, and it's hardcore Minecraft, right? And it's like, okay, we got to get the resources and things like that. And the only really unrealistic part is the premise, in that there's, how did this happen, right? Kind of a thing. And then the fact that there's this high school kid that goes to Africa to research Ebola and whatnot, right? But that's all part of the immediate premise, so no big deal, right? But then if 8 episodes later, what?
Keep going.
Well, if 8 episodes later, then they introduce the Pillar Man, that would be like we're going into a completely different show, right? Because here we're still in that stage of we accept whatever we see because the show is deciding what kind of story it wants to tell, right? Mm-hmm. So doing it here is a very good thing. Yeah.
I want to throw a theory out there.
What?
Why was he researching Ebola? Was that just for a joke?
Oh, yeah. And he's already established that he makes Freudian slips because he talked about the 4 things. Because again, ego, he wants to prove how smart he is, right? So yeah, that's...
I have a weird theory I'm going to go with here. Mm-hmm. I think that over the course of time, this smart boy, because based on the ED, I'm actually going to go hard on this, is that usually the OPs and the EDs will communicate some level of the themes regarding the story.
Sure.
What if this boy, Senku, he sees the world, and he's quite logical, 200 IQ, all that stuff. And he's like, his world is, it's not going so great. There's a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
And he literally is looking for a reset button. And and at certain points, he considered plagues. At certain points, he was like, if 70% of us just died,
here's
or 90% of us just died, like, I'll just say, he is very casual about life being
right. Because
he was like, oh, say a prayer or something. Now, when Tsukasa kicked the head off or punched the head off of that one guy, he's like, you realize what you just did. You just killed someone.
Yeah.
He didn't go like
you killed someone, right?
Like, it didn't leave him with the slightest bit of emotional distraughtness, probably because he sees it as like, yep, I was right about this guy. He's basically
Right, it was an ego pride posturing thing where he's like, okay, you are, exactly, I was correct. You're the bad guy, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is a thing that he was thinking about. Also, the fact that, so with the birds, that was a separate thing that was probably a part of the testing, right? Because they were affected and the other animals weren't.
Right.
However, for humans, how would you realistically get something that turns all humans to stone or petrifies them or whatever? Like, how would you get it to target only humans? If it was some kind of actual, like, blast energy thing, you would think that it would affect everything. Right, it would be a lot less. It would be a lot more indiscriminate. But
my basic thought is that he tapped into some aspect of human evolution, and it's that all humans have the capacity to petrify themselves or what have you if you put a certain chemical through their like it's some kind of BS like that.
Sure, but what if the vein that they decided to take is that it was a chemical agent that was basically spread throughout the world, right? And it's specifically something that would infect people, not animals and things like that, right? And then that's what it was. So that studying Ebola, he wasn't just studying it for the purposes of all sorts of other stuff and showing who he is as a character, right?
Right.
But it could be actually one of the mechanisms that contributed to him doing all this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, given the fact that he was kind of immediately suspicious of Tsukasa
before Tsukasa had shown anything to give credit for that, or evidence for that.
I think that there's the suspicion aspect of like, okay, he went and just immediately like nearly killed a lion with his bare hands, and then
Well, one other thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Senku is big braining it with trying to instigate some kind of conflict for humanity's growth or what have you. I think he literally is just a little bit just worried or insecure about having a guy that's this ridiculously strong.
Sure, yeah.
Who won't necessarily be driven by logic.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, someone who just kicks the head off of someone they don't like. Mm-hmm. It's like, well...
And okay, I'm sorry. He did have a pretty hardcore origin story.
I'm sorry about your really, really messed up past event that happened. And yes, it messed up your face forever. That is probably what forced him down a path of maybe psychopathy or
extreme violence
or what have you. Or just at the very least getting swole.
yeah.
Like that's a reason for most guys, I think, to hit the gym 24/7. You know, like
I finally realized that it wasn't enough. I bought that shake weight you see on TV.
10 minutes a day, every day.
Yeah.
But Senku has to realize that that's 33% of the human population right now. That he's being a bit
and potentially the smarter thing to do, you know, if he wanted to go for less of the pride route, would be to not say anything, still build your crossbow, and then shoot him in his sleep, right? like you know, doesn't make for as exciting anime episodes, granted, you know, because there's probably going to be some point where it's going to be like some fight between him and Senku, and it's like a chase through the jungle or something.
I think he would lose all loyalty with Taiju if he did that, though. I don't think Taiju is the kind of person that could forgive violence against another human being.
Okay. He could kill him, then like tie a rock to his leg, throw him into the ocean. Taiju would never know. He could just say, "Oh yeah, he struck out on his own. He was like, you know what, I can do it better on my own." You know, and he's a hunter, and he just ran off.
Make Taiju believe.
He could totally make Taiju believe that. Like,
yeah, that's true. But hey, we are in this situation, and civilization will go a very interesting route. Probably within about 2 episodes or so. I would say that they're probably going to find their 4th person in the next episode, and it will be a big deal as to who gets picked. Because based on this encounter here with Senku and Tsukasa, I actually think that Senku is going to pull a little bit of a, "Did you think this through all the way, Tsukasa? You need me," kind of a thing. And then Tsukasa's like, "Yeah, for now." Right, and then they kind of agree to basically just... Well, right, but it's not a thing of where there's any kind of hostility now. It's the thing of like, yeah, I'm watching you as I'm watching you. I'm watching you with my plan and then...
Eyebrow games.
And then Taiju's just the wholesome boy in the middle. Clans! And then just going, construction! I love that Taiju is actually a focus character at points.
Yes.
Like, there are so many things they could focus on with just Senku alone. Yeah. And just the fact that this earnest good boy gets actually focused next to the god of science.
Right. And the god of like barbarian, you know.
Right. I just love that it's like, he's an important character. Well, I just could easily see it in like 10 episodes where Taiju's like, wait, who's Taiju? Like, he's just a good boy amongst the 20 characters we have now, you know?
Well, and one of the things that I especially love about this dynamic right now, right? Because originally, Senku, Taiju, cool, science, brawn, you know, there we go, right? But now that we have another character in here that is also hyper serious and hyper competent, and in direct conflict with Senku, right? We what form that will take, right? You know, whether it'll actually get to violence or anything for a while now, who knows, right?
But I think it'll be more indirect.
Right, exactly. But they're in opposition, right? And there's so much seriousness that happens with the 2 of them on screen, right? Because any one of them can be serious enough for a scene, but 2 of them together, it's ridiculous, right? And then we can cut to Taiju in his simple self, just collecting shells on the seashore. Yeah.
He's the one that was told they're playing Minecraft in peaceful mode and still believes it, even though they were already encountered by lions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, that's a good point. I don't know if Minecraft has like zombie, you know, fantastical things that come to attack them, though.
That is a mode that exists for Minecraft.
In peaceful mode, though?
Yeah. You can turn that off so that there aren't any creepers and whatnot. Yep.
Okay. Right. I mean, but creepers aren't a real thing. I'm talking about like.
Wait, what?
Creepers aren't a real creature, though, is what I'm saying. In Minecraft, are there any like real animals that like actually try to attack you?
No,
are there any animals?
No. Okay, there are animals, but they're like cows and horses.
Yeah, they're always for foraging,
sheep,
or pets, or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Mounts.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyways.
Yeah,
y'all,
here we go.
Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And you can also talk with Jacob about the book that he wrote.
That's right. I wrote a novel. It's really awesome. It's a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines, and it's great. And it's on Amazon. Links in the description down below. It's in both hardback and ebook. So whichever one works best for you, go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.